The show where there are no penalties, nothing is offside, and everything is fair game. This is The Gloves Are Off.
Welcome to The Gloves Are Off, and I'm back after a lengthy vacation, let's call it that. It was fantastic, but I'm glad to be a part of your evening. I'm Moses Woldu, and I'm pleased to be joined by, it's not Greg Buchanan, of course, he's out the Stampede, but Andrew Brethauer making another return to the show. How are you?
It's great. It's a three-peat. I'm doing great. I should be in your spot,
That's,
but you won't let me there. So
no, that's not going to happen. You're not taking my crown just yet. But
Yeah.
we do thank you for coming on. It's going to be a great show knowing you're here. Especially this man, too. First time on our show, Graham Murray. You are the Lloydminster, or the Wheatland Extreme, that is, head coach, making your brand new appearance. First year here. How did your assessment go?
It was a good year. I can't wait for next year now. Now that I have a full year to prepare for another year of great lacrosse, get some sponsorship going, and it's going to be exciting. Can't wait.
All right, well, you want to talk about excitement? Let's get to the show and talk about the GMC Rangeland Derby. We've gone through 4 days, soon to be wrapping up 5, and you look at the CPCA drivers, they've done very well, Wayne Knight being one of them, sitting just outside the top 5. So you look at what's kind of transpired and what's kind of happened. Has there been any moment that's impressed you so far in the last couple days?
we've talked about this a lot, and we talked about Chris Molly again. He's he's won last 2 nights in a row. The first night he was out for 75% of the race, and then lost it at the end. He's sitting 35th right now. He's moved up 1 spot from 36 because the 10-second penalties have obviously hurt him. But for a rookie driver and what he's doing in the first year here at the Calgary, it's been a great showing. He's he's showing how well he's progressed over the year, and he's not a rookie driver. He's not driving like a rookie at all. So this is a guy who's making a lot of noise, and if it wasn't for those 10 seconds, we'd probably be seeing him in the semifinal.
I guess a unique time for the CPCA. They're doing very well.
The guy that I look forward to watching this weekend is BJ Carey. The guy I play hockey against, and I would just like to see him perform well, and he was up at the top last year, so it'd be nice to see it again.
I don't know if I want to see BJ Carey on skates, but I definitely agree with you in terms of being a great truck wagon driver. But, with the GMC and what we talked about and what we've seen, I guess we'll move on to the CPCA drivers in particular. You mentioned Chris Molly, Andrew, the fantastic job he's done. But has there been anybody else outside of Chris that has said, you know what, the CPCA deserves to earn their stripes because of person X, driver X?
I think this year, you look at someone like Ray Mitzwing, who's been so consistent at this year as well. Plus, when he goes to Calgary, he's he's in the top 5 or so right now. So this is another driver. I think he has the experience at Calgary, has experience in CPCA. He's showing he has that experience enough to push him far enough in the Calgary Stampede.
Any luck with the Nolans at all, too, guys?
Possibly with the Nolans, I think Vern's on the crisp. I think if he gets a couple wins out of him today, he needs something. I think he needs a win tonight, and he needs a good time tonight to help push him to that next level into maybe the semifinals. Shane, he's been consistent on tour all year. Not so much so far at the Derby. I think he needs a little bit more as well. If he can push that next level, he'll be kind of in that top 16 as well.
Okay, so there's still some time for the CPCA to kind of grow.
Yeah.
Do you think 10 spots is sufficient for them? Because I know they get limited. About 8 is what they grabbed. Last year they got a couple, the Labacanes that actually moved up to bring that spot to 10. But with the way they go, do you think that it will increase anytime soon, or should increase?
Oh, I think 10's a fair number. I think it's a smaller circuit, so I think 10 is plenty.
We could probably sneak in maybe a couple more, depending on how the next couple days go. For a guy like Ray and Shane, if he goes up there, and there's a lot of guys on the bubble who could possibly add a few more. But 10 seems to be what they're going at. I think it'll maybe stay around there, but maybe hint at a couple more on the bubble.
Oh well, speaking of teams on the bubble, the Edam Blue Sox, give them credit. Bouncing out, coming back, getting a big win yesterday, moving into the final playoff spot in the NSRBL. But you look at the Lloydminster teams, doing very well. You have the Twins, of course, top spot in a tie when you look at it in terms of league average with the Meadow Lake Sox, who are always good. You look at Unity, a great second half to the year, vaulted themselves to just outside, right behind, I guess, the Border City Blue Jays, who are in third, and the Midwest Expos, who clinched a playoff spot with a big win last night. If there's a group or a team that you feel that could kind of come up and challenge, or even just the favorites themselves, who's more likely to go to the final?
I kind of like to see the Blue Jays come through with it. They a couple guys I know that I play ball hockey with, Scott Willis and Landon Knowles and Noyes, and those guys, they're great guys, and I hope they play well.
think you can never count out the Twins. You know, defending champions how many times? Like 5, is it? So they're going for their 6th. And you can't count a team out like that, and they're all again at the top of the standings again. So I expect the Twins again to be, final. You got to, it's Ric Flair. You got to beat the man. That's going to be the team. I think it's going to be a battle between the Blue Jays and the Sox for that final spot against them. I think we're going to get a rematch of last year. I think it's going to be Blue Jays and Twins again.
It would be a heck of a match if you also throw in, like you said, the Sox, who've had an incredible stretch to the season. Like I said, just not too far behind the Twins for first spot. Well, speaking of baseball, we'll continue and move on to the major leagues. You have the Border City Blue Jays, who are doing very well. The Toronto Blue Jays, not too bad as well, except for the last month. Of course, they only won 9 games since the beginning of June. Not good, and have lost their 6-game lead in the AL East and are now 3 back of the Baltimore Orioles, just a half game ahead of the New York Yankees, who look to be surging as well. They lost Edwin Encarnacion to the 15-day DL. Guys, do the Blue Jays have any momentum, or can they stop this skid and still continue to be a team that hunts for the playoffs?
I think they're going to pull through. It's a long season. They'll have their ups and downs throughout. They started off hot. They have a little cold streak now. The bat's gone cold, but I still think they're going to come around. I think once they get off this road trip, it's pretty long, and I think once they get home again, maybe the bats will heat up.
And when haven't the Blue Jays played bad in June? Like, I can't remember a season where they played good in that month. And it's great that they're, get your injuries out before the All-Star break. After the All-Star break, go full throttle again. You get the rest of the half of the season to go. I think, there's not much time right now. Don't get worried about playoffs and where they're standing. They're 3 games out, I think, from Baltimore. You got lots of time to make that up. Just
exactly.
After the playoff.
But you wouldn't be concerned the fact that they lost one of their power hitters. Everyone's been consistent, but now everyone's got to step their game up because you have so many injuries to this team. Of course, Brett Laurie, he'll be coming back eventually, but you lose a great guy like Edwin Encarnacion in the year he's had. That's got to be gut-wrenching for that Blue Jays organization.
It definitely hurts because then teams are more likely to pitch around Batista and their power hitters, right? But if they have Encarnacion, they have to pitch to somebody. So it really helps out the lineup when he's there for sure.
And it doesn't, like I said, it's still a long season. We still got lots of games go, lots of baseball to play. It hurts in the short term, and you don't want to, they do got to do something quickly to kind of switch it. They don't want to get too far back. They don't want to be getting in that 7-8 game range going into the All-Star break. You want to, stick with them. Once he comes back, then you're right back to where you were.
Well, plenty of baseball to come, plenty of the show to come as well. When we return, we're going to talk about the Montreal Canadiens and their potential new captain coming up.